Okay, let's get some people in here before we get started. Okay, welcome in. If you're just now coming in, we're going to get started here. Today, we're going to be shipping out some items, but we're also going to be testing some tape today. So if you're in the market for a new tape, we're going to be testing some tape out because I now have an affiliate with American Bubble Boy, and they were kind enough to send 3 different types of tape and a tape dispenser. So we're going to put it to the test against my favorite tape brand, and we'll talk about prices and some of that stuff. So hopefully this tape is going to be better than what I buy because it is cheaper. And if I can get it shipped to my house and cheaper, I think that's a win-win. So let's get started. So first of all, I'll talk about this tape real quick before we get into the stuff we're sending. So here's the tape dispenser they sent me. And again, if you ever, any of this stuff, hey Flame, how you doing this morning? Any of the stuff that you see on this, you're welcome to check out my affiliate link through my profile, and it'll take you to American Bubble Boy. So all the stuff that we're going to talk about, you can buy on there. I do not normally use a tape dispenser. So let me be upfront and honest about that. I don't normally use one of these. I normally use a desk tape dispenser like this. That's what I prefer. But we're going to go ahead and give this tape dispenser a try, and maybe this will change my mind. This does have a feature that I do like when I do get these, and it's when you push this part, it raises those blades to cut it easier. So you can see that. I do prefer when it's going like that. Flame, I'm doing really well this morning. I'm flooded with video games all around me because I keep finding retro game deals. So if you guys like vintage video game stuff, I actually just uploaded a video to my YouTube this morning, and it's only 3 minutes long. It's not super long. It would be super appreciative if anybody wanted to go in there, check out that YouTube video. I'm trying to get those watch hours up as much as I can. And I'm talking a lot. And I do have my morning chocolate milk here. And everybody, if you could give that live a like, that would be a huge help. Gets more people in here when they see the likes going on. I'd really appreciate that. So again, they sent me this tape dispenser, and they sent me 3 tapes, and I don't know which one's which. So hopefully when we start using them, it'll be apparent. But they sent me a performance tape, a low noise tape, and an extra strong. So just for comparison purposes, this is what I normally use. This is the heavy duty Scotch brand that you can buy at Sam's Club. And I wrote on here, this tape cost me $21.47 for 6 rolls. So $21.47. Okay, let's grab our first item that we're going to ship. Let's go with, we'll start nice and easy this morning. Hey, Vince, how you doing this morning? Liked and commented here on YouTube. Hey, I appreciate that, Vince. If you guys ever want to watch on YouTube, I'm still trying to figure out how to get that stream operating a little more smoothly. But I am trying to build up that YouTube, so I would really appreciate that. Felix, my man, thanks for following that. Or thanks for, I always say that. Thanks for liking the live, Felix. That's my jam from Costco. Yeah, this tape is really good. I have nothing against this tape, but I do have to drive to my Sam's Club to get it. And I wanted to see what American Bubble Boy had going on. Full discrepancy. I actually ordered this tape from them. This is their economy style, and I was not a fan. It's just a little too thin for my liking. So once I had a meeting with the affiliate program, they sent me these 3 because they wanted to change my mind, because I told him up front, I'm not a huge fan of your tape. And he looked it up and he said, well, you ordered our economy. Let me send you our nicer styles. So hopefully these are going to replace that Scotch brand because I can have it delivered with my bubble wrap. So, and again, all my affiliate links, I only have 2, but they are in my profile. So if you want those. Recently, I've been buying my tape from Supply Hut, 16.75. I buy my boxes from Supply Hut, Flame. So how do you like that tape over there? Found a glitch on those the other day and got 3 packs for $1.50 each. Nice. Way to take advantage of the computer system. $1.50. So 3 packs of the 6. That's pretty awesome. Okay, let's load our first tape. We're just going to grab one. Again, I don't know which one this is. I'm hoping when we start to use them, it'll be apparent. But there are the 3 different types of tape. and I made some notes about each one directly from their website. So let's load this on here. The thing I do like about this, on the Scotch brand, you kind of have to dig and find the start of the tape. Not that bad, but they are loud. Does the job, cheaper than Sam's. So one of these tapes are their low noise tapes from American Bubble Boy. So hopefully it'll be very apparent that it's low noise. The other thing I like about these dispensers is when they actually have the thing that drops down. Just makes it a little easier to load. Yes, the shirt. That is my other affiliate link, actually. I buy all of my t-shirts like this, all the retro video game stuff, kind of the nerdy stuff I get from Once Upon a Tee. I love their shirts. And I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'4", so they have tall sizes, which is why I order from there. I can already tell you which tape this is going to be because that made no noise. That is crazy. So first thing that we got going out here is this Super Smash Bros. Complete for the Wii. Turn over my notes here. We sold this one for $14.99. Nothing crazy. So it's going to go straight into a bubble mailer. I may add, I think I will. I like to just rip off a corner of the bubble wrap when I ship out stuff like this. And I just put it right here on top of the disc. Just so that disc doesn't do unnecessary extra spinning inside the case. I just like to do that. So, and one thing that I do with all my bubble mailers, I do it with all of my poly bags, is they all come with one of these things that seals it for you. But I always add an extra piece of tape anyway. So we're going to do that. So again, listen to this. This is the low. This has to be the low noise tape. So I'm gonna pull it off. You can barely hear that. I pulled off way more than I actually needed. But what? I'm not sure what the Y is for. And I missed a message over here. What's it say? Why is it on there? There's a comment that's not letting me see. It looks like it may be on. Oh, wait. Rico, this past weekend I went to my first flea market and it was epic. Thanks for the content, brother. No problem. What'd you get? I'm curious. What'd you get, Rico? Why, who, where, what, when? Okay. First thing went out, of course. Where's my pen at? There's my pen. Again, you can tell how quiet that that tape was. So we got Smash Bros. We'll do another package with the quiet tape as well. So I actually got to fold up a box, which I normally try to take care of that beforehand, but we're actually going to tape it up now just so you can hear that tape again. That's crazy. Almost zero sound. I can pack it in height while my kid is sleeping for sure. I know English Thrifter. He talked about he was wanting tape and he said he needed quiet tape too. So again, this is the first of the 3 they sent me. I will tape this box up and I'll kind of tell you what the prices are. Again, I researched all the prices from their website. Okay. So again, I don't use tape guns very often. So we're going to try to do this the way it should. And I'm not very good at it. So I'm just going to pull off a little bit. You can bear. That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay. So again, oh my gosh, I can't do it that way. That's why I don't use tape guns. I just like to do it with my hands. Okay, listen, we're going to pull this tape off and you'll be able to hear it. That's all it is. It makes that little groaning sound, and that's all we got. And I flubbed it a little bit, and I got it kind of folded on that corner. So we're going to just do it again. Again, hardly any noise on that. Okay, so there's the box. You need to get the tape gun that has no handle. They're so much easier. I have seen those before. But again, Flame, I actually prefer this. This is a perfectly great tape dispenser for what it is. I just don't like tape dispensers. So if you are in the market for a tape dispenser, this will work for you. And all of this came from American Bubble Boy. So this is the box that they sent it to me in. I may just end up giving this away on like just as a gift to the people that watch. Yeah, Bruno or Issa's back behind me somewhere. I don't know where they're at. But I may end up just giving this away. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this tape off. I'm going to switch it to my preferred method, which is the desktop tape dispenser. There we go. Okay. Now we'll use it the way I like to do it. So I'm going to put this away. I just don't know why. I don't like tape dispensers. I like the desktop tape dispenser. My cat has a cone on right now. Oh, poor kitty cat. Did they get fixed, Ricky? I've cut my hands so much using those. Yeah. I just like tape dispensers are great when you're working in like a warehouse and you need to go like around big boxes. But for like my little 8x6x4 boxes, I just don't think it's as easy as using something like this. Okay. Let's do, what am I going to ship? We'll start with my most expensive sale today. This is a vintage Dracula shirt. Pretty boring on the front. The tag's kind of folded up, you can see. But the back is pretty cool. So that's the back. So Bram Stoker's Dracula shirt. Getting pop-ups on the computer here. Rico said he got an 80s Transformer and 7 Micro Machines for $3. Nice. We actually picked up like maybe like 5 or 6 of the little miniature Transformers, but the Gen 1. Okay, so what I do with my expensive shirts is this shirt sold for $150. $150. So I'm going to fold it up. And I don't care if I sell a $1 item or $1,000 item. Something fell. I charge shipping on every single item. I don't like free shipping. So, I mean, I sold a $2,000 shirt a couple months ago. And even on that $2,000 shirt, I still charge shipping. That's just what I do. And I don't like free shipping because I often lower my prices on stuff. And when I'm listing like a $10 item that eventually drops to like $4 in a couple years if it doesn't sell, I don't want to have free shipping and then lose money when I actually ship it. So what I do with those expensive shirts is I'm going to put it in just a normal poly bag just to protect it from the elements if some water were to get in the bag or anything like that, or get into the box, I should say. Guys, thank you so much for following me. Lucky and Xavier, very much appreciate that. I may have missed some earlier. We had a lot of comments going on. But if you're joining me today, I normally do shipping. I try to do once a week, but I've been trying to do it more frequently. Get in there. But we're testing out some new tape from American Bubble Boy today. So that's the main goal of this, is to see which tape I like best. So again, we're going to tape that up. Listen. That's just crazy. That is very quiet. So now this does have a similar problem. For me, a problem of why I don't like their economy tape. It is a slightly thinner. And I find that when you use the slightly thinner tape, sometimes it does stuff like that and rolls up on you or folds on itself. So that does have a slight issue there. But it does exactly what it says it does. That is super quiet. Very quiet tape. Okay, Dan, what shirt was it for 2K? It was a vintage Nirvana shirt. It was a parking lot shirt that you would have bought in the parking lot. Okay, that tape did exactly what it said it did. I mean, it is super quiet. I'm going to just waste one more piece before I change out the tape because I want to move on to a different tape. But just so you guys can hear one more time, this is their quiet tape. That's what you got. Pretty damn quiet. Again, I just kind of wasted that piece, but I wanted to show one more time before we took that off there. Have you ever seen Backstage Crew concert shirts? I have not, New Again. That is not something I have ever seen before. Do they sell pretty well? Okay, before we move on from this tape, I just want to give you a couple of the stats on it, just in case you're thinking about getting it. So this was the low noise tape. It is a 2.1 thickness. So every other thickness we're going to do today, it climbs higher. So that's the lowest today. So 2.1. You can buy this for $6.95 a roll. So $6.95. Or you can get a case of 24 of them for $39.95. So you get 24 rolls for $39.95. So, for example, this is the tape I use, this Scotch brand. For $21.47, you get six of them. So you'd have to buy 4 of these to get the same amount, and it's only $40. Pretty crazy. So that's a pretty good tape if you want the low noise. So we're going to set that one to the side now. We're going to move on to a different tape. I don't know what this one is. I'm hoping, so these are the 2 that we have left. I'm hoping that'll be very apparent which one is which. So that was the low noise that we just did. So we're not going to be doing low noise anymore. I've been looking for them ever since. It's my grail. Okay, I think I missed one. I worked at the Miami Arena in the 90s. Had quite a few, but someone oh, that sucks that somebody stole them from you. Anytime that you have theft going against you, that's a big bummer. I've been looking for them ever since. It's my grail. Over on Facebook, Gene said, check the length of tape on each roll. They get you on that. I'm not going to go through and stretch out a whole roll of tape. That's just not something I'm going to do. I forget how long these rolls are, but I'm not going to go through and stretch this all the way out to measure it, if that's what you're saying. That's just crazy. Okay, moving on. Let's find another item to ship. We sold a Squishmallow. Sold this Squishmallow right here. So it is new with the tag. Probably cost me like $2 at a garage sale or something. I don't even remember what I paid for this. But this guy sold for $8.12, and the buyer paid shipping on top of that. So $8.12. So we're going to throw him into the box. Nice and tight. I don't need to add anything to this. So I'm going to fold this down. Actually, I am going to add something. I am going to add 1 roll of bubble tape on the top. I said bubble tape. 1 roll of bubble wrap, 1 piece, just because it's got like this like furry part, and I don't want that to go up through the crack and stick to the tape. So just so that stays out of the way of the tape, we'll put 1 little layer of bubble wrap. Okay. So moving on to our next tape. I'm going to guess. So as you can tell, it's already louder compared to that silent tape. So this one isn't too bad. This one's not too bad. I would say this is probably their performance. So it's not their heavy duty. I'm going to guess. I'm going to test out the other one, but I'm going to guess that's the performance tape. And it's not too bad. It's got a nice thickness. I would say it is slightly thinner than the Scotch brand that I normally use. This is a little thicker and it has more of a rigid feel to it. It doesn't fold on itself as much. So again, that is not quiet. This is not the quiet tape. So we moved on from the quiet tape. But that's a pretty nice tape. I would say it's a little thinner than the tape I normally use, but it didn't like stick to my fingers or curl or fold on itself, which is the main issue that I had with their economy tape. This was a Squishmallow. But that was a pretty good tape. We're going to do another one. We'll do this one. Yeah, and then I have another one to do. Okay. So the next, okay. Scored at the bins on Saturday. Got a Farberware rotisserie motor. Cost about $4. Sold for $26 in less than 2 hours. Nice. $26 in less than 2 hours. I'd always turned away from them, but starting to put the time in. Yeah, so any type of like kitchen equipment, you just got to be, just when you buy it, you got to know you're probably going to have to clean it, make it look nice, and the shipping is normally, it's not hard, but it's normally bigger than like video games and stuff. So as long as you're okay with like bubble wrapping kitchen appliances and pots and pans, it's really pretty nice. Sheesh, that silent tape is quiet. I may just demonstrate that tape again because it is crazy how quiet it was. Lime Kool-Aid joined and sent me a heart. Thank you so much. And Yator Victor, thank you for the follow. Very much appreciate that. Okay, so we sold these razors. And if you've been with me for any amount of time, you know I will pretty much buy and sell anything. So I have video games all around me, toys. I sell razors, t-shirts. Love wrapping them Vitamix blenders. Nice. Those Vitamix blenders can sell for really good money. Make sure you package them up real nice. You don't want those breaking. So I don't need to bubble wrap this, but I am going to put some packing paper in the box. So we're going to put little packing paper on the underside of the box. And put some on the top. Give it a shake. It's fine in there. We're going to use the performance tape to seal it once, and then I want to demonstrate how quiet that other tape was compared. So here's the performance tape. You can see, again, that's actually pretty decent. I can move that around. It's not like folding on itself. That's a pretty nice tape. I hate when you like move the tape around and then it folds on itself and curls and gets stuck to it. That was actually pretty nice. I'm going to pull this off for just a second, just so you guys can see, because I do think this is kind of crazy. I don't know if I will order the quiet tape, because honestly, I just don't need it. I don't ship at nighttime, like in my house or anything. But this is pretty crazy. So again, here's that quiet tape. You can see the difference. Now, as I kind of jiggle that around, it has folded on itself because it's slightly thinner. So keep that in mind. If you use a tape gun and you're better at tape guns than I am, maybe this would be a nice alternative for you if you need to ship and not wake up your kids or your wife. Felix says too quiet for me. Is it creepy, Felix, that it's too quiet? So that is pretty cool, though. So if you guys want that quiet tape, go to my affiliate link. Help me out. Go through that link. That would be very much appreciated. Okay, so we need to write on what I sold here. So these were the razors. Okay, so far we've done the quiet tape. I don't know why I looked at my computer. We've done the quiet tape, and then we did the performance tape. I need the sound for assurance. I don't need the quiet, but I think it is pretty cool how quiet that actually is. Let me see here. Phil 5 Dime, thank you for the follow. Do you always use such a box for a small item? I use boxes more than anything. I send video games in boxes unless they are like Wii games or PS2. I'll throw those in bubble mailers. I throw DVDs in bubble mailers, but I do use boxes more than anything. I buy them in bulk for the small ones, so they're pretty cheap. And then all my other boxes are just donated to me through Amazon. So normally what I would do is I would cut that down a little bit so there's not as much empty space. But for the sake of time, the box was free to me. I just put a little bit of extra packing paper. So that's why I did the box on those razors. So cheers. We're going to get that morning chocolate milk going. Brandon always gives me crap for drinking chocolate milk in my lives. Okay, so we use the quiet tape, and we use what do they call it? They call it their performance line. So here's the comparison. So that low noise tape had a thickness of 2.1. The performance tape is a thickness of 2.7, but it's the same exact price as the low noise. So if you don't need the low noise, I would highly recommend get that performance, because that tape was actually pretty nice. It didn't fold on itself. It didn't roll. So it's $6.95 a roll, but you can also buy 24, and then it ends up being $39.95. So that's pretty cheap. It's definitely cheaper than what I get at Sam's Club. So that's a pretty good value. What's the price difference on a small box and a bubble wrap bag? So the price difference is really just what you're paying for the item. Something that small, you're not paying more to ship it because the dimensions are so low. So I can ship an 8x6x4 box the same that I can ship a poly mailer. But the physical item would be cheaper to get the poly mailers. And again, I don't know what the actual poly mailers cost per item. I buy them in bulk, and I haven't bought them in years because I just don't use them that much. And I bought like 5,000 or something when I bought them. Okay. I think I hit everything over there. Okay. Moving on to our last tape. This one should be the heavy duty tape, which would be the most comparable to what I normally use with the Scotch brand. Okay. So let's find something to ship here. Let's do this sweater. This may be my last item. I need to look. I didn't have a ton going out today. We sold so many CDs this past weekend, but Brandon had all of those CDs. So I don't actually have to ship any of those. So this is a vintage Bach Rock sweater. This guy sold for $19.59. $19.59. And the buyer did pay shipping. And no problem, Victor. No problem at all. Robot, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that follow. And if you guys want, if you like video game style pickups, I picked up an awesome bundle yesterday and I uploaded that video to my YouTube. It will eventually come to TikTok, but I'm really trying to build up my watch hours on YouTube. So if you want to be super cool and go watch that video on YouTube, you can find that link in my profile. I would very much appreciate it. Drop a comment in there, leave a like, whatever you want to do. I would appreciate you if you would do that. Okay. So we're going to do the slightly bigger box. This is a pretty thick sweater. A lot of times on these sweaters, I will put them in a bag, but this one was pretty thick and I just didn't want to deal with trying to put it in the bag without ripping it. Okay. So moving on to the tape. This is the heavy duty. It's definitely not sticking. It feels very comparable to the Scotch brand. Very comparable to the Scotch brand. Okay, get this in there. You can see I don't need to really add anything to that. That's not going to move around in the inside. So one thing I do want to do is I want to pull off one of these, which is the heavy duty, and then directly after, I also want to do the Scotch brand, just so I have that for my reference. So let me grab, I don't want to open a new one. I guess I'm going to have to. We'll just go ahead and open it. Hercules, hello, good morning. So here's the brand I normally buy. This is the Scotch brand. And as you can see, this is a much thicker as far as how much tape comes on the roll. So you can buy them in two different styles, or some of these you can. The extra strong is only in the 110. So it's wider, so that may not fit on your it may not fit on your tape gun, so keep that in mind. It works fine on mine. But that's 110 yards. So normally they come in like these 60 yarders. This one only comes in the 110. And the performance, one of these you could actually choose to buy the 110. I think it was the performance. So you could either get a 60 or you could get the 110. And it ends up being about $1 more per roll, but you get pretty much double the amount of tape. Okay. So we're going to instantly do one of these so I can get a feel for it. And then I'm going to put the Scotch one on there and do that directly after. Directly after, as quickly as I can actually get it changed over. And I always hate this part, trying to get that first one going. So it feels almost identical, honestly. I couldn't find the width on the Scotch. I'm going to have to research that. But this and this feel almost identical. So they are pretty much like the same tape. Very similar quality, but this one's way cheaper. I'm going to go back to this other one. I'm putting way more tape than I actually need to on these, just for the fact that I'm testing it a little extra. But that was pretty good I don't know the exact facts, but I would say this one from American Bubble Boy is probably slightly thicker. Like, it feels stronger than the other one. That is excellent tape. Now I'm torn what I'm going to have to order, because honestly, the heavy duty tape, and whichever one of these was the performance, the performance is definitely thinner than the heavy duty, so you can feel a difference. But this one was doing just fine. It wasn't folding over on itself. It wasn't rolling up and sticking to itself. So now I'm going to have to decide which one I want, because normally I do the heavy duty tape, but if it's going to save me money and it's going to work just as fine, I may start using just the normal performance tape. But just so you guys know, so that extra strong tape is about $1 more a roll. So it's $7.95 for a roll. It's actually 3.2 millimeters thick. So a whole millimeter, almost a whole millimeter thicker than the low noise tape. And to get a case of 24, or it may even been 36, I'll have to research that, but you can find all of this on their website. It was basically $70, $69.95. And you get like the 24. So I'm pretty sure that was 24. So you'd have to order 4 from Sam's Club to get the same amount, and it's cheaper. So if you guys are in the market for new tape, I highly suggest you go check out American Bubble Boy. You don't have to order a huge order of it. Although you can order cases of 24, sometimes 36, you can just order one roll. So if you want to try it out for yourself, find my link in that description for my affiliate, American Bubble Boy, and try some out. If you need some tape at home when you're packing at nighttime and you don't want to wake up the kids, that low noise tape was pretty crazy. I don't need low noise. I ship out in a barn. My cats out here that protect the barn from mice, they don't care if it's low noise. So go ahead and try for yourself. See what you think. If you are like me and you order from Sam's Club or you order from Costco, this will be shipped directly to your house. It's just as much of the same quality. I actually think I prefer the heavy duty better than the Scotch. It felt a little thicker, but I don't even think I need that heavy duty. I think I may just order the normal performance tape. So give those a try if you want. And I think that you'll be very happy with it. And you're going to save a bunch of money, and it's going to be shipped directly to you. This last thing that I did was the sweater. Just wanted to make sure. Let me check my notes. I think we shipped out everything. Nope, I have one more thing to ship out. I had a pair of sandals that I sold, so that'll be the last shipment for the day. Victor, thank you so much for... What'd you do here? Thank you so much for giving me a follow and liking the live. Good morning, Drea. How do you write on the boxes? With a pen. I just write right on the box with a pen, and then when I put my label on, I just put it over what I write on. So I'll package this one up and I'll actually show you. Does anybody want it? Do you care what tape I use now? Drea, do you want to see this crazy silent tape that I got from American Bubble Boy? I think this is the most of a shock because of how quiet it is. But as far as like what I need and what quality I need, I only really need the performance or the heavy duty. You may have to go back and watch some of that. So this is the quiet tape. Again, I don't need this. I just think it's cool of how quiet it is. So we're going to pull this off. This is designed for people that want to ship in their house and not wake up their kids or their wife. So listen to this. That's the tape. That's the tape. And I did say one of the issues I do have with thinner tape is thinner tape will tend to like roll like that, or it will stick to itself. So just keep that in mind. That's why I don't use thinner tape. It just kind of gets on my nerves. I prefer a heavier duty. So I'm going to pull that one more time just so you can hear it. Ready? It makes like hardly any noise, which is crazy. So that's that silent tape. That came from American Bubble Boy. Okay, let's see. I missed quite a bit of stuff here. So let me go back. I think I missed some stuff. Chago, I use Dollar Tree tape. It's so bad. At first, I thought you said it's not so bad. I use it and it's so bad. How much do you get for $1? Are you talking like, so these are typically 60 yards of tape. How much yardage do you get from dollar store tape? I highly recommend you stop using dollar store tape. Go to Sam's or go to American Bubble Boy. They will ship it right to your house. And that's what I've used all my bubble wrap for American Bubble Boy. And when I had my affiliate meeting, they asked me if I use any other products. And I said, honestly, I tried your tape. I'm not a huge fan, but that's because I ordered the economy tape. It was way cheaper than anywhere else, but I got what I paid for. It's made for people that maybe aren't packing up orders like I am every day. It did the job and it would hold the package just fine, but getting it onto the box, it would fold on itself and stick to itself. And I just hate that. So go to American Bubble Boy, put in just for one roll, just buy a roll for like $6, $7. So if you wanted to buy one roll, it would cost you $7. I typically buy in bulk. So I buy 24 at a time, but they have different stages that you can buy. I think maybe they have like a 6-pack. They probably have a 12-pack. You just have to look on their website, but try it out. Stop going to Dollar Tree. Let me see here. I never knew they had a quiet version of tape. You learned something. I didn't really know either until the representative from American Bubble Boy let me know. Super cool guy. He was super nice, but he was like, have you ever tried our silent tape? I was like, no, but I have a friend that was actually wanting that. It is crazy science. How much for it? I be packing orders at 11 p.m., making a lot of noise. Okay, so I'll tell you these prices again. So this is the quiet tape. It's 60 yards. I'm just going to go through all the stats. I found all of this on their website. It's 2.1 thickness. So out of the 3 I tried today, it's the thinnest tape. So it is more likely to roll on itself when you're using it, unless you are pretty good with like a tape gun. I don't use a tape gun. So keep that in mind. But it's $6.95 for a roll. $6.95 for a roll. But if you order a pack of 24, it's only $39.95. And I don't have my calculator on me. Maybe somebody can do the math and put it in the chat. But for $40 and you get 24 rolls, that's less than $2 a roll. I mean, I can do that math pretty quickly, because if you got $2 a roll, 24 rolls, that'd be $48. So it'd be less than $2 a roll if you buy 24 of them. So yeah, that's pretty cheap. And this is the same. I think it was this one. Nope, that's my Scotch brand. Which one was it? I've moved some stuff around. Maybe it was this one. But the performance tape was the same price as the low noise. So you're going to get a little bit more thickness, but it's going to be loud. But same price. And then the heavy duty was $1 more per roll. Let me see here. Somebody tried to comment something. Maybe it wasn't nice. It got filtered. Excuse me. I use eBay tape since I get it with my coupon, but also have clear tape from Ollie's. Brandon, my business partner, uses the eBay tape as well. Typically, whenever I have that coupon, I buy the poly bags. I do use American Bubble Wrap for bubble wrap, though. So that's where I get all my bubble wrap, American Bubble Boy. And that's where this tape comes from. But Drea, you should try this tape out. Order one. Maybe it's cheaper than what you get from Ollie's, and I bet you'll like the quality just as much or maybe even more. Chago, yeah, for sure. Give it a try. Again, if you guys wouldn't mind, and if you're going to go there and look for it anyway, my link is in my description. $1.67. Thank you, Jim. So $1.67 a roll if you buy 24 of them. Basically getting close to like Dollar Tree tape. That's pretty cool. I get mine from Uline. I'm sure Uline has fine products as well, but I like American Bubble Boy because they're a very small company. They're very personable. When I actually did my affiliate link, the owner is who I talked to. So super cool to talk to like the owner of a company, and he was excited about getting to work with me. So pretty nice company. That's around $2. Yes, but I use a tape gun. It has dramatically improved shipping. Again, if you're just now coming in, they sent me this tape gun. It works just fine. I just don't like tape guns. So there's the box for it. I'm probably just going to give this away in one of my videos. So if you want a new tape gun, the things that I do like about a tape gun like this is when you push down on the plastic part, it raises the blades to cut. And it's got this part right here to where it's easier to load it in. So it's a pretty nice tape gun. I just don't like tape guns. Ever since I got my desk tape dispenser, this is all I use. I love this thing. So I may give this away on one of my videos. So follow me if you want. You can watch my reels. I've been posting reels like crazy because I've been getting tons of great deals. So give me a follow. Yeah, I'll give it a go next order for sure. Give it a go. Mrs. Thrifty, thank you so much for the follow. Very much appreciate that. But I've never used a desk one, so who knows? Maybe you should try it. Once you go desk, you never go back. I don't know. That's what I like. Okay. So the thing that we sold, we've got these Berkeys, got some cat hair on them. Doesn't really matter how well you seal off stuff. When you have cats, there's going to be cat hair. So I always just go through, give them a little wipe down. This one's actually not so bad. So we're going to use some of this American Bubble Boy bubble wrap. We're going to wrap it around these. Pachette, sorry that I missed your comment. Do you print your own labels? He asked over on Facebook. So I use eBay labels. So all of my labels are printed through eBay, and I use a thermal printer. So it puts out a nice thermal label. I don't have to buy ink. It's got a sticky back to it, so I don't have to tape it. When I first got started reselling, forgot that I pulled this tape off. I'll just stick with the quiet one. I mean, I'm eventually going to use all the tape they sent me anyway because I'm frugal. So if tape comes to me for free, of course I'm going to use it. I'll even suffer through the economy tape, and I bought that. I just prefer not to use it. Okay. Again, we're just going to finish out this order with the quiet tape because tape is tape, but I think this is pretty crazy science, how quiet that is. But as I said, it will roll on you if you do it like I do. But that's how I like to tape. Okay. Let's see here. What were your gross eBay sales last year? So I have two different eBay stores, and we were somewhere, when you add both of them together, like 150,000 in gross. Somewhere around that. I just saw you are in Indiana, Fort Wayne here. Welcome, Jim. Very cool. I don't go up to Fort Wayne hardly ever. And every time that I go north, I go to the west side of Indiana, and I go around Chicago. So I'm not normally on that east side. Let's see here. What else did I miss? Good sales this weekend. We had really good sales. Now, did I go to good sales? No. There hasn't been garage sales really, but I found an awesome Facebook deal yesterday, and that's actually the video that I posted on my YouTube. So go to my YouTube and check that video out. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and tell me you came from TikTok, because I'd be curious if you actually go from TikTok to watch it. I'd be curious if that's where you came from. So I'd want to know. But as far as sales, we have been selling the crap out of these CDs that we bought. We bought them from Froggy Flips. So if you know Froggy Flips on YouTube, he does a lot with toys. We bought a bunch of CDs from him. How long did it take you to get to full-time income? I'm still new, 6 months in. So I had been part-time reselling ever since I started collecting video games, and just out of high school is when I started part-time reselling. So that was in like 2006, 2007. I became part-time. Before I went full-time, I was basically doing maybe 2 or 3 years of really hard part-time reselling, to where I could tell in those 2 or 3 years, like my income from that part-time was almost what I was making from my normal job. So I just knew if I put more into it, I would be fine. So I did it for like 2 or 3 years part-time. But that's all going to be dependent on how you run your business. You may know within the first like 6 months, like this is going to work. For me, it took some time to convince my wife to let me quit my job. That's a scary thing to do when you quit a job that sends you a paycheck every week. You have health insurance. All of that is something that's kind of scary. So I made sure that I thought about it very hard for the 3 years. Okay, let me get this taped. Gonna get some packing paper in here, and I actually have to go do my taxes today, which really sucks. I'm not looking forward to that. Me and Brandon have an LLC, which Brandon is my business partner. So a couple of weeks ago, we did our LLC taxes, but now we have to do our personal taxes. Okay. Drea said, I'm profiting about $1,500 to $2,000 a month part-time. Best month was $3,000 in December. Learning, want to double. Okay. So let's go on the low end of that. So we'll say that 1,500. So 1,500 for 12 months ends up being what, like 16, 17,000, somewhere right around there. So I guess the question would be for you with what you would need to accomplish for full time is what would you need to sustain yourself for a full-time living? For me, I had a lot of different things I had to take into account. For one, where I worked before, they paid 100% of my healthcare premium. So I knew that if I was going to go full-time reselling, I would have to cover my healthcare on my own dime. And that is a pretty big expense. So now I pay something like $300 a month for healthcare that I had to pay on top of what I thought my normal income should be, which that was a cost that I didn't have to do because my healthcare was paid for 100% by my employer. Also, like retirement, like if you want to put things into retirement as a reseller, you have to do that on your own dime. It's not like you have somebody matching that retirement. So you have to go a little higher than like what your normal job was. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 20 years. So this is all savings. So that's awesome. So I think that's perfect. If you were already you're already at home and this was extra income, that's awesome. I don't survive on it, but maybe have to one day. So yeah. So being a stay-at-home mom that's obviously your full-time job. So you're kind of a full-time stay-at-home mom reseller as well. Your full-time is different than mine. Like in the summer, I'm basically a stay-at-home dad for like half the week. So when summer hits, my kids are out of school. My wife still works. So I have to take care of my two daughters. Typically, I take care of them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Mondays, they go to their grandpa's. And then on Fridays, my wife does have the day off. So I'm like kind of a stay-at-home dad during the summer, but I'm doing the reselling as well. So these were these Berkeys. I don't think I missed anything else over here. Hopefully the footage over on Facebook and YouTube was a little better today. I do have the GoPro going instead of my laptop camera. So hopefully that did make a good improvement. Okay, I think I have done all of my shipping today. Hopefully, I know it was kind of like an advertisement, but it was something that I wanted to see for myself, how I liked this tape. So I thought, why not just show it while I'm doing it? So they were kind enough to send me the 3 different rolls of tape, and I wanted to compare it against my normal Scotch brand that I buy from Sam's Club. So I thought I'd just show you guys all how I was doing that. Hawk, ship, ship, ship all day long, ship, ship, ship while I sing this song. If you guys aren't following Hawk, he's my gold and silver guy. So if you've ever seen any of my videos, and he gave me something, I think. He gave me a heart. Thank you, Hawk. I love you. So go give Hawk a follow. He buys gold and silver. He does auctions on here on TikTok for gold and silver. So they're super cool. Give him a follow. Anytime that we find rings, coins, anything like that at garage sales, that's where we're taking it. So we take it to Hawk. If I order, let me see here. If I order my normal order, can I click through your link even though I've already purchased from them? Try it. I have no idea. I am so new to being an affiliate with anything. I don't really know the ins and outs of how that works. So if you could try it, click through my link, Drea, and order and see what happens. I don't know. At least they would know that you came through my link. But I don't know if I'd get any commission. But if you would try it, I would really appreciate it. Okay, guys, I think I'm done. I need to do a few things before I go and do the dreaded taxes today. So I appreciate everybody that wanted to hang out with me today. Thank you for all the new followers. Thank you for liking the live. We got up over 1,000 likes today. And if you were kind enough, please go to the YouTube. I am trying super hard to get my watch hours up on YouTube so I can hopefully be monetized in the future. So if you don't know about YouTube, you have to have a number of watch hours in a year, or you have to get a number of reels or shorts. I think they call it shorts on YouTube. And it's really hard to get the shorts. It's like 10 million shorts views in like 90 days. So if you could give that video a watch, leave a comment and throw a like in there, I would hugely appreciate it. That would be such a big help. And continue to follow me. I'm going to go ahead and give this dispenser away on one of the videos. It's just not for me. I don't use tape dispensers, so I like my desk one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I will talk to you guys next time. Shelbyville, Vince. I just missed that. Greetings down to Shelbyville. Peace out, guys.